A long time ago, in the deserts of Saudi Arabia, a story of a great guy that believed in justice and equality no matter the color of your skin or where you are from. A guy fought for his beliefs and fought to break his chains. Bilal, a black kid, lives happily with his mother and sister Ghafara. Before soldiers attach them, capture his family, and take them as slaves. Now, Bilal is in his teenage, he and Ghafara are living as slaves. Bilal wakes up from his constant nightmares. Ghafara approaches to check up on him. She gifts him a coin she was saving for him. Bilal appreciates it, and Ghafara suggests he give it to the gods, to help him get rid of the nightmares. Bilal refuses as he sees that they are not helpful but decides to grab her something to eat. A soldier interprets them, ordering Ghafara to bring water for their master. But Bilal goes instead. He walks into the market of Mecca, the great popular city in the middle of the desert. In Mecca city people worship idols. The biggest idols are around Kaaba. A priest is collecting money from people in the name of gods. In return, they will get what they wish from the gods. The priest talks to Bilal, he can get what he desires in return for the coin he has. The priest's words make Bilal think, but his belief in their god's inability to help makes him ignore them and walk away. Meanwhile, Safwan, son of Umayyah, is playing with friends of his. He is looking for a target to shoot with his bow. That is when Ghafara crosses by them. He rudely orders her to stop. Ghafara is scared, but she has to listen to his order. Once she stops, Safwan asks his friends to get her and put her to the ground. Ghafara is scared now and asks for mercy, but Safwan aims at her with his bow. Bilal shows up in front of Safwan, making him miss and hit his friend with the arrow. Bilal threatens him to stay away from his sister, so he orders his friends to attack him. One of them attacks him with a wooden sword. Instead, Bilal knocks him down, attacks Safwan, grabs his bow, and points an arrow to his eye. Safwan is frightened, and not moving a finger. Ghafara steps up and stops Bilal, and kneels for Safwan, asking him for forgiveness. A trader passes by and watches them fighting, so he approaches them and notices Safwan. The trader pays Safwan respect and offers help if needed, but Safwan just ignores him and leaves with his friends. Bilal feels guilt for not being by his sister's side when she needed protection, and assures her that she is safe now. Somewhere at Mecca, traders are selling slaves for the highest price. A trader is offering slaves to Umayyah, the father of Safwan and the master of Bilal and Ghafara. A cruel and ruthless man. He is very wealthy due to his trade in idols. And by his side, the priest who previously was collecting money from people in the name of gods. The trader offers him a clever kid that can write, read, and speak 20 languages. But Umayyah points to a strong, grown slave. The trader said that he is an expensive slave, which made Umayyah angry. It seemed like the trader is suspecting Umayyah's fortune. Umayyah, to humiliate the trader, drops the price of the slave on the floor. The trader who witnessed Safwan's humiliation on the hand of Bilal reaches Umayyah to deliver goods. When Umayyah nags at the trader for being late, the trader argues that he was late because he stopped to help Safwan, son of Umayyah. When Umayyah hears that, he freezes in his place. Meanwhile, the people in the market gather around Umayyah and the trader. The trader continues talking and mentions that Safwan was hit by Bilal. Umayyah acts normal, but he is burning inside. He leaves the market and the trader. At night, Umayyah calls for Bilal, throws an apple on the floor, and orders Bilal to pick it up. When Bilal picks it up, Umayyah attacks him and hits him roughly. He demonstrates to Bilal that he owns him as he owns the apple. Then he orders the guards to whip him in the courtyard to make an example of him. While the guards are dragging Bilal out, they pass by Safwan, who humiliates Bilal with his word. After the guards and Bilal leave, Umayyah slaps his son Safwan for being hit by a slave. Safwan cries, so his father orders him to stop crying. Makes him listen to Bilal, who is being whipped but doesn't spell a word, or drop a tear. Umayyah eventually makes it obvious to his son, that whatever happens, he should never be embarrassed by a slave in public. Later, Bilal sits under the moon. He is cleaning his wounds and eases their pain. To the moon, he looks and remembers his mother. Once she asked him what he wants to be. Bilal was obvious that he wants to become a great warrior. A great warrior that rides a big horse, fights enemies, protects his mother and sister, and becomes a great man. His mother encourages him, then she explains to him that a horse and a sword do not make a great man. But what makes a man is living without chains, the chains of anger and vengeance. She believes that Bilal has a heart of a great man. Back to Bilal, he believes now that his mother was wrong, he is a slave. And he can do nothing about it. Ghafara comes and resents what happened to her brother. Bilal sees himself as a weak slave. Ghafara sits beside her brother, she finds no words to reply. She shows him a coin, the coin she earlier gave to him. He lost it while defending her. She offers him to give the coin to the gods in the market. Bilal is really frustrated. He does not believe in the gods' power. And he decides not to hope for anything again. Ghafara decides to keep it with her until Bilal asks for it. In the morning, Bilal is doing his work. He passes by a horse stable, and he observes a big white horse. He touches the horse, then tries to ride it. But the horse is very big, and the horse is not helping. Bilal tries multiple times, but he ends up falling to the ground. The horse approaches Bilal's pocket looking for food. Bilal grabs food out of his pocket and feeds the horse. Then smartly he lures the horse with food to climb on it. It works and he rides the horse, but once he rides it, the horse lifts his legs into the air and runs out of the horse stable with Bilal on its back. Years later, as Bilal grows, he rides the white horse through the desert. He reaches Mecca, he heads to the Kaaba. People are giving money in the hands of an idol. By the idol a poor little kid standing, asking for food or money. But the people ignore him. The kid gets the idea of taking money from the god bowl. He climbs it and tries hard to pick a coin. Before he grabs it, Bilal stops him. Bilal does not want the kid to be punished by the priest. Instead, he gives food to the little kid. Bilal then walks in his way, but he gets stopped by a man. The man is questioning the intention of Bilal to help the kid. Bilal at first thinks the guy is a priest, kneels, and apologizes. But when pays more attention to the look of the man, he recognizes him as Abu Bakr, who is known as the Upright, because of his good manners. Abu Bakr asks him to stand. Abu Bakr already noticed that Bilal is different and has a good heart. Abu Bakr explains his beliefs to Bilal, which are justice and equality for all people. Everyone is born free, and Bilal is as well. Bilal appears that he does not have a will due to being a slave, though that, Bilal believes in equality and justice. Eventually, Abu Bakr asks about Bilal's master. Bilal informs him that his master is Umayyah. Bilal excuses himself to leave, while Abu Bakr is saying that he saw greatness in the acts of Bilal. And great people always change their own destinies. Meanwhile, Safwan is training on fighting. He is a grown powerful man now. He fights 3 armed men with his bare hands and knocks them all down. Bilal interrupts him and informs him that Umayyah, his father, called for him. Safwan approaches Bilal and reminds him to kneel every time he comes. And Bilal does so. Umayyah leaves. And Bilal meets a friend of his called Sohib, a slave and blacksmith. Bilal invites him to his home. When they reach the house, Bilal introduces Sohib to his sister. Gufera gets worried when she knows that Bilal met Safwan. But Bilal reassures his sister that Safwan has not hurt him. Gufera prepares a plate of fruits and gives it to Bilal to deliver it to Umayyah. Umayyah is sitting with traders and friends. Bilal delivers the fruit and stands by Umayyah. A guest of Umayyah called Abu Hakim is talking about people he calls sinners. Those people have new beliefs, they believe in equality, and a slave and master are the same, which may affect the slave trade. Abu Hakim is convincing Umayyah to attack them along with him. Eventually, Umayyah gets bored of that talk and orders Bilal to sing. Bilal begins singing with his angelic voice, impressing all guests. And when he finishes, Umayyah orders him to leave. The next day, Sohib and other people are getting water out of the water well. Suddenly, Abu Hakim appears with dozens of soldiers. They attack people who are getting water and Sohib included, under the pretext that they are sinful and unbelievers. They attack women and unarmed people. Bilal hurries up to help his friend Sohib. But the soldiers stop him, and when a soldier is about to hit Bilal, a man comes on his horse, grabs the soldier by his face, and crashes him to the wall. He gets down from his horse and reveals himself, Hamza the Lion, a wise and honorable leader. A warrior everyone fears, and a man of good manners. Abu Hakim approaches Hamza, thinking Hamza is going to support him. But Hamza's response comes clear, he slaps Abu Hakim in the face, knocking him to the ground. He bravely steps in and defends the poor people. Challenges whoever dares to attack the people, but no one has the courage to fight Hamza the Lion. All the soldiers step back. Hamza announces that they can take water from the well as much as they want. Abu Bakr steps in and asks Hamza to join him for a talk. Bilal hurries to help his friend, while he is witnessing the braveness of Hamza, and he fought for the people. Hamza defending the poor people bravely made Bilal rethink his talk with Abu Bakr earlier. But Bilal does not understand why Abu Bakr is treating him in such a kind way and thinks about what is Abu Bakr waiting for in return. And most importantly, Bilal wants to know if he can ever be free. So Bilal decides to take a step and go ask Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr kindly welcomes him. Abu Bakr met a noble kind man, who is spreading the message of equality. And Abu Bakr is following the noble man's footsteps, to inspire people and spread the message of equality and justice as well. Abu Bakr is not waiting for anything in return, he has his own good beliefs and wants to spread them between people. The next night Umayyah and his son Safwan are having a feast, where Umayyah meets Abu Hakim. Abu Hakim is worried because of the new beliefs which are spreading quickly in the community. Abu Hakim sees that the new beliefs are going to cause problems in their trade, whether in the idol trade because the people are losing faith in their gods, or in the slave trade. After all, the new beliefs are calling for equality. Umayyah sees the opposite, and those beliefs will fade soon. But when Umayyah notices the absence of some traders and knows that they joined the movement and believe in the new beliefs, he loses his temper. He recognizes the threat, they are threatening his trade and his fortune. Umayyah screams between the guests, challenging any other trader to come out. Safwan steps in, and snitches on Bilal. Safwan had people spying on Bilal. Umayyah permits Bilal to speak up. And Bilal does. Bravely Bilal steps in and declares his beliefs with no fear. He announces it, he is equal to his master Umayyah. All people are equal, all people are born equal and be buried equal. Bilal just challenged his master in front of his guests and embarrassed him. Umayyah calls out to the guards at the top of his lungs, with a voice full of anger and evil. Bilal knows the pain waiting for him. The guards drag Bilal, tie him, and leave him with no water or food to starve for days. Through those days they torture him violently in every possible way. They are trying to break his will and make him back off his beliefs. But Bilal holds up. Eventually, Umayyah and the priest visit him to try to convince him for the last time. Umayyah admits Bilal's courage in revealing himself. Then Umayyah offers money and power in return for retreating. But Bilal refuses to give up his beliefs. Umayyah decides to make Bilal suffer for that. The guards drag him out to a field where everyone can see him, to make an example of him. They pin Bilal to the hot sand and chain his limbs to the ground. Abu Bakr asks to buy Bilal from Umayyah, but Umayyah refuses. Four guards come carrying a big heavy rock. They approach Bilal and put the rock down on Bilal's chest. Bilal's feet writhed in pain, he cannot even scream. The rock is pressing over his chest, preventing him from breathing. His sister and friends are trying to hurry and help him, but the soldiers prevent them. Safwan talks to Bilal, offering him to surrender and end his pain. Bilal is trying hard to take a breath, but he can't talk, he can't even move. Safwan places idols by Bilal's head and tells him to accept those idols as his gods. Finally, Safwan asks Bilal about the god's amount. Bilal is sweating, writhing, he looks at his hand and raises his finger, whispering with his smothered voice, "One, only one." Safwan outrages, hit the idols with his hand, stand and start pressing on the rock. Bilal whisper in pain. Abu Bakr takes great pity on Bilal, and desperately doubles the price to buy Bilal. Fortunately, Umayyah accepts. Orders the guards to remove the stone. Bilal breathes heavily once they take it off his chest. His friends and sister run to him, to rescue him. Abu Bakr states that he was ready to pay all his fortune to save Bilal, not to buy him as a master, but to save his life as a brother. When Abu Bakr notices Bilal's sister near her brother, and offers the same amount. But Umayyah declines, announcing that he gave her away for his son Safwan. As expected, Safwan refuses to sell her, and the guards drag her away. Bilal is stopped by the guards. He is watching his sister being robbed in front of his eyes, but he has no power, and he even collapses. 3 months later, Abu Bakr, Hamza, Bilal, and others who believe in a new religion, decide to leave Mecca to survive the thirst of Umayyah and the others. On their way, Hamza starts teaching Bilal how to hold a sword and how to fight like a warrior. They train for days, and over time Bilal gains experience. At night, Bilal gets a dream of his mother and sister. He sees warriors with red eyes riding black dark horses attacking his sister. Those nightmares affect Bilal training, he fights in anger and loses. Abu Bakr advises him to control his anger and assures him that they will save his sister and free her. After weeks of traveling, they finally reach Al-Madinah city. People happily welcome them. The people of Al-Madinah accept the new beliefs. This makes Bilal and the others' life much better, the people are treating them kindly. And at Al-Madinah, they build a place where they can gather to spread hope and justice in the heart of men. They build a mosque. And Bilal is honored to be the one who calls for the people. His voice will inspire, speak for justice and equality. Meanwhile, in Mecca, Umayyah and the unbelievers of Mecca decide to gather an army and fight the believers to stop them and finish their message from spreading. In Al-Madinah, Bilal finds the white horse that was for Umayyah. Somehow the horse made his way to Al-Madinah. Hamza gifts the horse to Bilal and asks him to take care of it. At the same time, people escaped from Mecca and reached Al-Madinah. One of them delivered Bilal a small box which was sent by Safwan. Bilal opens it to find a lock of his sister's hair. Bilal loses his temper, rides his horse, and rushes out of the city. Once Hamza the lion sees him, he hurries up, takes his horse, and goes after Bilal. Bilal and Hamza ride day and night, but when he reaches Mecca they get surprised. They find the city burning, the houses of the believers are burning, and the believers are getting eliminated and beaten to eternal sleep. Only a few of them survive the massacre. Bilal immediately heads to Safwan's house. He fights them and knocks a couple of soldiers down, but eventually they outcome him. The soldiers capture Bilal and they are about to eliminate him before Safwan orders them to stop and throw a piece of coin stained with blood. The coin that his sister always kept for him is in front of him stained with blood. Bilal's eyes lose their light, he breaks down. He cannot even leave his head. The soldier gets the order to continue and eliminate Bilal. He lifts his sword, but before he drops it down, an arrow pierces his chest, finishing him down. Hamza comes in his horse and knocks all the soldiers down, and gives a hand to Bilal. Bilal has to continue, he picks the coin and rides his horse. Hamza the lion fights the soldiers as they are running in their horses, and they make their way out of the city. 1 year later, Bilal still cannot forget his sister. The loss of his sister never got any less painful. Hamza is by his side supporting him as much as he can. Hamza pulls a sword and hands it to Bilal. He made a special sword for Bilal. Hamza asks Bilal to not let the blade dictate his choices, not to let the anger control him. Meanwhile, in Mecca, Umayyah has prepared his army. He keeps the city in the hands of his son Safwan and leaves for battle. The believers prepared as well, and they are waiting for the unbelievers on the battlefield. The unbelievers reach the battlefield with a huge amount of soldiers, 1,000 soldiers. The believers in exchange are only 300 soldiers. As a tradition in war, the best 3 warriors of every army step into fencing. Umayyah's army is waiting for his 3 warriors to crash the believers. From the believers' army step 3 of the best warriors, one of them is Hamza. They start dueling, and easily the believers finish the unbelievers. And once they finish the unbelievers' attack, the 2 armies clash. But an army of white people coming on white horses join the believers' army. They look like they were sent from God. Bilal and Hamza fight side to side. Bilal fights bravely against them. So he as well, he knocks a dozen of soldiers by himself. In addition to Hamza the lion, Abu Hakim locates Hamza on the battlefield and heads to him. Hamza bravely runs towards him, and with one stroke of his sword, Abu Hakim falls into eternal sleep. Meanwhile, Umayyah is knocking believers' soldiers down, but when he locates Bilal, he rides his horse, intending to eliminate Bilal. Bilal approaches him with a lot of courage. Strikes the horse, which makes Umayyah fall to the ground. Unexpectedly, Bilal talks to Umayyah asking him to stop. They are brothers fighting each other. Umayyah's answer comes clear, he wants to finish Bilal, and he is not stopping till he eliminates everybody. They fight one-on-one, and Umayyah succeeds in stabbing Bilal but fails to eliminate him. Bilal responds with a stroke that ends his life, and finishing the battle, declaring victory for the believers. The believers go back to Al-Madinah proud and happy of their victory. But on the other side, Safwan and who is left of the unbelievers are planning for another battle. And only 1 year later, the unbelievers attack the believers. Unfortunately, the believers lose this battle, and they lose Hamza the lion in the battle. Bilal and Abu Bakr grieve over eternal sleep, but they do not allow the hate to talk over their hearts. Years pass, and the beliefs and the message of equality spread all over Saudi Arabia desert. Only Makkah remained, but one day, the believers enter it with no elimination, with no blood, and take control. Bilal goes for revenge on Safwan, and they both grow old. Bilal eventually could not eliminate Safwan. He just asks Safwan why did he eliminate his sister. Safwan answers him to look outside the window. Bilal approaches the window, and looks to see his sister. His sister is alive, and mopping the garden. The single act of morality Safwan did. Bilal drops tears, looks to Safwan, and asks him to not make it his last. Bilal meets his sister finally after all those years of separation. But this time Bilal is a warrior, a great warrior, a man of morality, a man that no chains can hold him. He climbs on the roof of the Kaaba, and calls for the people. He raises his voice to inspire the people and to speak for justice and equality.